All right, so today we're diving deep into mid-century modern design.
Yeah, using that essay you sent over as our guide.
Exactly.
Oh.
I think a lot of people are drawn to this style, but maybe don't fully understand what makes it so special.
Well, it's interesting because even though it emerged during a very specific period, post World War II America, it's still incredibly relevant today.
Yeah, it's like it transcends time. So we're talking about the mid-20th century, a time of major cultural shifts, new technologies, suburbia, the space
Yeah,
race.
exactly. It was a time of optimism and progress, and I think mid century modern design really captured that spirit.
Okay, I'm already intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, the essay highlights how this style was all about embracing innovation and creating a better future through design. It was a departure from traditional design principles.
So instead of just mimicking past styles, they were looking ahead, trying to do something new.
Exactly. And that forward thinking approach is reflected in the core principles of mid century modern design. Think clean lines, minimal ornamentation, and this amazing blend of natural materials like wood and leather with more modern materials like molded plastics and plywood.
So it's not just about being sleek and modern, it's also about pushing boundaries and experimenting with new materials.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about that connection to nature. Bringing the outdoors in was a key element of this style. Large windows, open floor plans, a focus on natural light.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
After years of war and uncertainty, people probably crave that sense of peace and connection with nature.
And that desire for a brighter future is woven into the very fabric of mid century modern design.
Okay, so we've got this foundation of simplicity, functionality, and a connection to the outdoors. But what about the aesthetics? I have to admit, when I think of mid-century modern, I always picture lots of browns and beiges.
Yeah, that's a common misconception. Mid century modern actually embraces color, but in a very strategic way.
Okay, I'm liking where this is going.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this strategic use of color.
So imagine a living room with a sofa in a calming neutral, like gray or beige. Then you add an armchair in a vibrant orange or rug with geometric patterns in shades of teal and mustard yellow. It's all about creating visual interest and a sense of energy without overwhelming the space.
So it's not about shying away from color, it's about using it thoughtfully to create balance.
Precisely. And to add another layer of depth, mid century modern design relies heavily on texture. Think nubby textiles, woven wall hangings, and those iconic geometric patterned rugs.
Texture definitely adds warmth and personality and keeps things from feeling too cold or sterile.
Exactly. It's about creating a space that feels both stylish and inviting.
Okay, so we've got these core principles down.
Hmm.
But I'm curious, were there any specific design movements or designers that influenced the development of the mid-century modern style?
Absolutely. The essay points to a few key influences. One of the biggest was the Bauhaus movement, which originated in Germany in the early 20th century.
Bauhaus. I know it's famous for its focus on functionality and clean design, but how did it directly influence mid-century modern?
Well, one of the key principles of Bauhaus was form follows function, meaning that the design of an object should be dictated by its intended use. And you can see that principle reflected in mid-century modern furniture with its emphasis on clean lines, simple shapes, and a lack of unnecessary ornamentation.
So it's not just about looking good, it's about serving a purpose.
Exactly. Bauhaus was also a pioneer in the use of industrial materials and mass production techniques, which helped to make good design more accessible to the masses.
So it's not just about aesthetics, it's also about social impact.
Right. And another key influence was Scandinavian design, with its love of natural materials and minimalist forms.
So it's this blend of Bauhaus functionality and Scandinavian simplicity that gives mid-century modern its unique character.
And when you look at the work of iconic mid-century modern designers like Charles and Ray Eames, Eero Saarinen, and Arne Jacobsen, you can see those influences at play in their iconic pieces.
Oh yeah, the Eames lounge chair, the tulip table, the egg chair. These are pieces that have become design classics, but why are they so valuable? Yeah, an original Eames chair can go for thousands of dollars. What makes them so special?
Well, it's a combination of factors. It's partly about the name and the historical significance, but it's also about the design innovation and the use of new materials and manufacturing techniques. Take the Eames lounge chair, for example.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's so special about the Eames lounge chair?
Well, for starters, the Eamesies wanted to create a chair that was as comfortable as a well-worn baseball mitt.
A baseball mitt. That's an interesting goal.
Right. They used molded plywood and leather to create a chair that was both stylish and incredibly comfortable, and it's still in production today.
Wow, so they really achieved something special.
They did. And the chair's ergonomic design and luxurious materials made it a status symbol.
So it's not just about the looks,
Uh.
it's about the craftsmanship, the innovation, and the attention to detail.
And the fact that these pieces are still relevant and sought after today speaks to the enduring power of good design.
Okay, so we've established that mid-century modern has this fascinating history and some pretty high-end iconic pieces.
Right.
But is it achievable for those of us who aren't millionaires?
That's a great question, and the answer is yes. Mid-century modern isn't just for the elite. There are options for a variety of budgets.
Okay, that's a relief.
You can find affordable mid-century modern-inspired pieces at retailers like West Elm or Article, and there's always the option of scouring vintage shops and flea markets for hidden treasures.
I love a good treasure hunt. So vintage shopping or affordable reproductions, got it. But is this style actually a good fit for most people?
Yeah.
What are the pros and cons of embracing this look?
Well, every design style has its pros and cons, but mid-century modern offers a lot of advantages. One of the biggest pros is its timeless appeal.
Yeah. It's interesting how a style that emerged over half a century ago can still feel so fresh and relevant today.
Why
Why do you think that is?
I think it's the simplicity and the focus on functionality. Clean lines and well-designed pieces never really go out of style. They can easily blend with other styles and evolve with changing trends.
So you're not stuck in a time warp if you choose to go mid-century modern.
Exactly. And another pro is the versatility of the style. You can incorporate mid-century modern pieces into a variety of spaces and mix them with other design elements to create a personalized look.
So you can have a modern home with mid-century modern accents, or you can go full-on retro. The possibilities are endless.
Right. And we can't forget about that connection to nature. Mid-century modern design really emphasizes natural light and bringing the outdoors in.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have to assess my window situation before I go all in on this style.
And it's not just about aesthetics. Natural light can actually have a positive impact on our mood and well-being.
So it's a win-win.
Hey.
Okay, so lots of pros.
Yeah.
But what about the cons? There have to be some downsides, right?
Of course, no design style is perfect. One potential con is that finding authentic mid-century modern pieces can be pricey, especially if you're looking for those iconic designer pieces.
Yeah, and even reproductions can be expensive if you're looking for high-quality craftsmanship.
Right. It's important to prioritize quality over quantity when it comes to mid-century modern. Don't be fooled by a cheap knockoff that falls apart after a year. Invest in pieces that will last.
Okay, so quality over quantity. What other potential downsides should we be aware of?
Well, another potential con is that mid-century modern can feel a bit cold or impersonal if it's not done right. The emphasis on minimalism and clean lines can sometimes create a sense of starkness.
So it's all about striking that balance between simplicity and warmth.
Exactly. And this is where texture and color come into play. Remember those pops of color in different textiles we talked about?
It all comes back to that thoughtful balance.
Exactly. It's about creating a space that's both visually appealing and truly livable, a place where you can relax and feel at home.
Okay, so we've covered the pros and cons. But there's one more thing I wanted to bring up. The essay mentioned something about misconceptions and the influx of cheaply made reproductions.
Right. Mid-century modern is having a major resurgence in popularity right now, which is great. But it also means that the market is flooded with imitations that might not have the same quality as the original pieces.
So buyer beware.
Exactly. It's important to do your research and make sure you're getting the real deal or at least a high-quality reproduction. Pay attention to materials construction and the overall design.
So it's all about paying attention to the details and doing your research before you make a purchase.
And remember, if a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Good advice. Okay, we're getting a really good sense of mid-century modern design, its history, its key elements, even the potential pitfalls. But there's one thing I'm still wondering about. Why is this style still so popular? I mean, it originated over half a century ago.
That's a great question, and it speaks to the enduring appeal of this design philosophy. The essay suggests a couple of reasons for its continued popularity.
I'm all ears.
Well, first, there's the adaptability factor. Mid-century modern can be seamlessly integrated into contemporary homes and blended with other styles.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all style.
Exactly. And the second reason for its lasting appeal is its connection to sustainability.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, remember how we talked about the quality and craftsmanship of original mid-century modern furniture? Those pieces were built to last. They're durable and often made with natural materials, which aligns with today's focus on sustainability.
So choosing vintage or well-made reproductions is not only stylish, but also more eco-conscious.
Absolutely. It's about investing in pieces that will stand the test of time and reducing our environmental footprint.
Okay, I'm officially sold on mid-century modern design. It's stylish, timeless, versatile, and even sustainable. What's not to love?
It's a design philosophy that really speaks to the heart of what makes a home beautiful and functional.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into mid-century modern design. I feel like I could go out and redecorate my entire house right
I
now.
know, it's inspiring stuff. It really makes you think about the power of good design.
Absolutely. But before we get carried away with our interior design dreams, let's shift gears and talk about some specific examples of iconic mid-century modern pieces and designers.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so we're back and ready to geek out over some iconic mid-century modern pieces and designers.
I thought you'd never ask.
Let's start with the Eameses. You know, their lounge chair is practically synonymous with mid-century modern design.
Oh, absolutely. The Eames lounge chair and ottoman, a true icon designed back in 1956.
And it's still so popular today. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's incredibly comfortable for one. They really achieved their goal of creating a chair that felt like a well-worn baseball mitt.
Yeah, we talked about that in part one. Such a unique design goal, but it obviously worked.
It did, and it's also a beautiful piece, a combination of molded plywood and leather, so innovative for the time.
It's like they managed to create something that's both modern and timeless.
Exactly, it transcends trends. And speaking of iconic pieces, we can't forget about the tulip table, designed by Eero Saarinen in 1956. It was a radical departure from traditional table designs with its single pedestal base.
It's so elegant and sculptural. Plus, no more bumping your knees on table legs.
Right. Saarinen wanted to create a table that was visually lighter and more open, and he succeeded. It's a true masterpiece of design.
So we've got the Eameses and Saarinen. Any other mid-century modern designers we should have on our radar?
Oh, definitely. Arne Jacobsen is another big one. He was a Danish architect and designer who was known for his minimalist and functional style. He designed the egg chair, which is another icon of the era.
Oh yeah, the egg chair. That's like something out of a science fiction movie.
It does have a futuristic vibe.
Yeah.
It was actually designed for a hotel lobby, the SAS Royal Hotel in Copenhagen, back in 1958.
So it was meant to be a statement piece.
Absolutely. And it's still a popular choice for public spaces today. You know what's interesting about these designers is that they didn't just focus on one thing. Jacobsen, for example, designed buildings, textiles, even cutlery.
They had this holistic vision for design.
Exactly. They weren't just creating objects, they were creating experiences.
Yeah.
And their work continues to influence designers today. It's amazing how these mid-century modern pieces have truly stood the test of time.
It's like they tapped into something timeless about design and the human experience.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've geeked out over some iconic designers and pieces. Now let's talk about how we can actually bring some of this mid-century modern magic into our own homes.
Yeah, I'm feeling inspired, but also a little overwhelmed. Where do we even begin?
Well, remember, mid-century modern is all about creating a space that's both stylish and functional. It's not about rigidly following a set of rules, but rather about finding pieces that you love and that work for your lifestyle.
It's more about capturing the spirit of the style than creating a museum-perfect replica.
Exactly. And the essay actually offers some great tips on how to achieve that authentic mid-century modern vibe in your own space.
Okay, I'm all ears.
First things first, embrace those clean lines and simple shapes. Look for furniture with tapered legs, minimal ornamentation, and a focus on functionality. Think sofas with low profiles, chairs with slender frames, tables with sleek, uncluttered surfaces.
Got it. No fuss, no frills, just pure streamlined design.
Exactly. And don't forget about the power of accessories. Geometric patterned rugs, abstract art prints, and lighting fixtures with sculptural shapes can all add that mid-century modern flair.
I'm already picturing a cozy reading nook with an Eames lounge chair, a funky geometric rug, and a Sputnik chandelier overhead. Maybe a vintage record player in the corner.
Now you're talking. And remember, don't be afraid to play with color and texture. A bright orange throw pillow on a neutral sofa, a woven wall hanging above the fireplace, or a collection of ceramic vases in shades of teal and mustard yellow. These little touches can make a big difference.
It's all about creating a space that feels both visually interesting and inviting.
Exactly. You want your home to feel warm and welcoming, not cold and sterile. And don't forget about the importance of natural materials, wood leather, natural fibers. These elements can really ground a space and create a sense of warmth.
I love that idea of mixing those warm organic materials with more modern elements. It creates such a unique and inviting aesthetic.
And finally, let's not forget about natural light. Mid-century modern design is all about bringing the outdoors in, so make sure you have plenty of windows and natural light in your space.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to work on my window situation.
Well, even if you don't have a ton of natural light, you can still create a bright and airy space by using lighter wall colors and strategically placing mirrors to reflect light.
Good tips. Good tips. I'm feeling so inspired right now.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
And remember, it's all about having fun and expressing your personal style. Mid-century modern is such a versatile and adaptable style that it can be tailored to fit any taste and any budget.
That's what I love about it. You can have a sleek, minimalist space with just a few mid-century modern accents, or you can go full-on retro. The possibilities are endless.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works for you. So I think we've covered a lot of ground in this part. I'm ready to move on to part 3, where we can wrap things up with some final thoughts and takeaways.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Welcome back. It's time to wrap up our deep dive into the world of mid-century modern design.
And I feel like we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much to explore with this style.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I think we've covered a lot of ground, from the historical context to the iconic designers and pieces, and even some practical tips for incorporating the style into our own homes.
Yeah, we've really gone deep. So
Yeah.
what are some of the key takeaways for you?
Well, for me, it's the fact that mid-century modern is so much more than just an aesthetic. It's a design philosophy. It's about creating spaces that are functional and beautiful, but also connected to nature and a sense of optimism about the future.
Absolutely. And I think that's why it continues to resonate with people today. It's about creating a home that reflects your values and your lifestyle.
And it's not about being a millionaire or having a perfect museum-like space. It's about finding pieces that you love and incorporating them into your home in a way that feels personal and authentic.
Right. It's about capturing the spirit of the style, not just copying it blindly.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired and ready to embrace the mid-century modern vibe, what's one piece of advice you would give them?
That's a good question. I think I would say don't be afraid to start small. You don't have to do a complete overhaul of your home. Just start with a few key pieces that you love and see how they work in your space.
Yeah, maybe it's a vintage Eames chair or a sleek side table or even just a colorful geometric rug.
And remember, it's all about having fun with it. Don't take it too seriously. Experiment, mix and match, and see what works for you.
And don't be afraid to break the rules.
Yeah,
Mid-century modern is all about personal expression.
exactly. It's your home, so make it a reflection of who you are.
I think that's a great note to end on.
I agree. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into mid-century modern design. We hope you've enjoyed the journey.
And if you're feeling inspired, we encourage you to go out and explore this fascinating style for yourself.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.